Welcome back. Broward College has programs in place designed to specifically meet the needs of the local workforce while getting you the career that you've always dreamed of. Here is Mildred Coyne to explain. Mildred, good to see you. Welcome to our show.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
All right, we're going to talk about Broward College.
Great.
Meeting the needs, exceeding the needs of the local workforce, right?
Right.
Okay, how do they do that? How do you do that?
Well, it's actually quite natural. It's exactly who we are. It's in our DNA, is to make sure that we are providing a skilled workforce to help our local employer community and our economy continue to grow and expand. So we look very intentionally at the local labor market data and making sure that we have the training and education programs that align to what those employers are looking for. We do that in a variety of ways. We talk to employers. We have one-on-one meetings with employers and ask them specifically what are their pain points. Where are they finding that they're not able to find the workforce that they're looking for, and how can we then help meet that need? So we know nationally and locally that there's this supply-demand issue, that there's this proverbial skills gap. And so we are going out of our way and making sure that in our conversations with employers, we're saying, what are the skills that you're seeking, and how can we make sure that we're fulfilling those
I'm curious,
shortcomings?
what are some of the skills that that employers are seeking that they're not finding?
Well, one of the things that's kind of a phenomenon about the skills gap is that it may not be as the skills that you think. It's often soft skills that employers are looking for. And so what we mean by that are things like problem solving, people skills, work ethic, loyalty, ready to work type of skills. And so almost every employer group that we talk to, and we work with the Career Source Broward and the local Fort Lauderdale Alliance, and they find the same thing, is that employers are looking for skills, but in often cases they'll say, send me someone who's got the critical thinking, problem solving, teamwork, good human work ethic,
right,
that makes them a solid employee, and they'll teach them the technical skills.
That's what I was just going to say, because it's probably, if you got to spend 8 hours a day with this person, right, it's probably easier to just teach them up. As long as you like them, you probably want to like them.
But there still are some very specific skills that are, and there's a huge demand for information technology skills, looking in the computer sciences, and they are all in all different platforms, looking at different certifications. We use some local labor market tools or some real-time labor market tools that look at the job postings that are in our local community and identify what are the skills that are being most sought out for by our employers. And we can search by the specific skills, but we can also search by the credentials that they're looking for, such as a technical industry certification. And we find things like project management or networking, different languages that in the computer sciences world that employers are looking for.
What I think is really nice about that is, you often hear students complain about I'm never going to use any of this, right? Why am I learning this if I'm just going to take my test and then it's gone out of the short-term memory bank and who cares? So if you can convince the students that you're learning this not just to get an A in the class, but because this is going to get you hired, probably makes everybody happier and more willing to work hard, right?
Right, and one of the ways that's really enticing to students is to make sure that we're matching them with an employer early in their college experience. So for the example in healthcare, they've learned long ago in healthcare industry that they need to build the workforce pipeline, because I guess it's a matter of life or death often if they don't have a supply of workforce to meet their needs of their patients. So they reach into our talent pool of Broward College nursing students and they sponsor them and they pay for their tuition, and then they kind of court them all along their training process. And it's a give and take so that the student is learning the employer and the employer is learning if that's a good candidate for them. And then the student is committed to work for that employer for a certain period of time. But it gives them that real world work experience and connects their education to their work experience.
And so you go out and you get the data and you do your interviews and you figure out what employers are looking for. How do you specifically teach that in the classroom?
Well, it's by connecting what the content is. What are those outcomes that our students learning in math or in their communications course, and tying it back to how we use it in everyday life and application and into the workplace. In our career and technical education training programs, we do that through hands-on technical training. We have labs and facilities. In our healthcare arena, we have the Simulation Center, which is a brand new state-of-the-art simulation center where students are actually practicing on on mannequins, real life scenarios that are life-saving and provides them from being able to having to try and practice on you and I.
Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah.
Right, I'm not a guinea pig for
Right.
the Heimlich maneuver.
But one
yeah.
of the I'm sorry, yeah, I agree with you. I don't want to do that either. One of the other things that we've also found is that students don't often know. They just don't always know what they don't know about what's available, what are viable, lucrative careers in the workplace. Right. And so we've now have adopted a framework of 8 career pathways by which we're taking all of the occupations that are within our targeted sectors, industry sectors in Broward County, for example, and dividing them into 8 pathways so that students can begin to explore all the different education levels in each of the 8 pathways so that they can have a better understanding of, if I'm in this business class, how is it going to relate to my occupation as an accountant or a bookkeeper, and no matter what it is their occupation is. But it's allowing us to do a little bit more targeted career exploration for them.
And I don't want to beat this point into the ground, but it's just such an advantage for a student to know that I'm learning this for a reason.
Right.
Right? I mean, that specifically, I'm taking these skills, I'm going to meet with someone who's going to have a vested interest in me, and I'm working towards a career.
Right.
Yeah.
That is exactly, and it's a retention strategy and also a completion strategy for us within the institution to make sure that students have that opportunity.
And are you getting any assistance through grants to make this happen?
We do. We have several, actually recently awarded grants. The most recent is the American Apprenticeship Grant that we are in partnership with Florida State College at Jacksonville and St. Pete College and Broward College to train up to 1,000 apprentices in fields in IT, information technology, healthcare, and manufacturing, advanced manufacturing. I almost forgot.
You have so many things going on, you can't keep track of all.
And that's just the most recent grant.
Right.
We also have a JP Morgan Chase Foundation grant, which we're really excited about, and that's to also launch our machinist program in our advanced manufacturing program. So we're excited about that.
It sounds really exciting. It does.
There's always something new.
A lot of momentum. Yeah.
Right.
What's the next new thing if you look 6 years, 6 months, a year ahead?
Well, even just looking this semester, we have 6 new associate in arts degrees that we're launching: business analytics associate in science degree, technology project management, computer and network security, looking at that whole arena of cybersecurity and making sure that we're protecting our information in our country.
Yeah, if you talk about a trend,
right.
Oh man, in terms of what the world needs, that would be it. Yeah.
And so oftentimes people just only know what they're familiar with from career standpoint, and there's so many, because the economy is evolving so much, technology changes so fast, it's hard to keep up with what are the hot jobs and what are those great career training opportunities. And so giving our students those access to those is really a very important step to make sure we have a thriving economy.
Okay, everybody wants to go to Broward College.
I hope so.
How do they do it? How do they find you?
Broward.edu. Look us up. It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it's so great to hear from you, and it's really exciting what you're doing over there. And come on back and visit us again.
I look forward to it.
All right,
Thanks very much.
Thank you. You got it.